Yo, what is up? It's Dream here. Going to be doing a review of the Pulsar X2 V2 Mini, as well as the 4K Hertz dongle and the implementation and how this all works. This mouse right here, it's 50 grams, got optical switches, it's got a 3395 sensor, a Pulsar blue encoder. What does that even mean? I don't even know. But anyway, the important part is this mouse looks really cool. I like the design of it. It looks very sleek, sexy. Unfortunately, I could not get a copy of the white. Because it was out of stock and I was impatient, so I just went ahead and got the black one. But overall, it still does look really awesome. I like the coating a lot. It's a matte coating, and this black copy, I don't know how much you can really see of this. It does, like, you can see the fingerprints on it a lot. Like, it's pretty noticeable. However, when you're actually using the mouse, it doesn't feel like clammy or sticky or wet or anything like that. Anytime I grab the mouse, I feel like I always get a great grip right out of the gate every single time. So no issues with that whatsoever. The clicks, they're using those optical switches. I don't love optical switches, but that's just me. That's a personal preference type thing. So, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. They're not very heavy. They're pretty light. I would say they're definitely on the lighter end when it comes to clicks. But I'm not totally a fan of these clicks. I prefer for reference, some of my favorite clicks are the KLGM 8.0, specifically on the Extrafy MZ1 Zeiss Rail. All hail Rocket Jump Ninja. So yeah, I really like the clicks on those mouse more to give you a reference if you have, any idea what those kind of clicks are like. But again, that's just personal preference. Absolutely nothing wrong with them. This scroll wheel though, it's really great. Scrolling up, scrolling down, it feels pretty smooth. There's a lot of defined steps there. It's not anything like Zowie where it's anything crazy, but clicking the mouse wheel down, this thing is as firm as a pair of bolt-ons, man. Like, it takes effort, like some force to get that thing to go down, which is this is probably the hardest to press down scroll wheel I've ever had in my entire life. And I've kind of gotten into the habit of, you click down on that and it will open up links in a new tab or anything like that. And I just completely stopped doing that because it's like half the time I have to push down so hard that like I will move the mouse and I won't even hit the link anymore. So, now I have to, oh my God, I have to right click, open a new tab. It's terrible. It's horrible. But other than that, like I have legitimately no complaints with this mouse, really. Like, it looks amazing. It feels amazing. I even like the bottom. I think the bottom looks pretty cool. These side buttons are fantastic. They are very responsive, extremely tactile. They basically register instantaneously. There's essentially no post travel, nothing to complain about whatsoever when it comes to the side buttons. There's no rattle at all, and as hard as I squeeze this thing, I don't hear creaking, cracking, anything like that. Like Zeiss Rail, for instance, if I tried to squeeze that mouse as hard as I've been able to squeeze this one, it would probably disintegrate in my hands. But this one, it's great. Absolutely no issues with the build quality on this one. And I kind of want to just talk about kind of like the grip style on this mouse. So I fingertip everything, doesn't matter what it is. It could be a Death Adder, whatever. I cannot force myself to palm or even claw at all. I just can't do it. I have to fingertip. So this mouse being so, flat, it does have a little bit of a hump, but it's so low that like if you do claw, you could claw it, but like for me, being able to fingertip it, it's essentially perfect. And I have never used a mouse that I was able to just pick up and have such a natural grip and just really pick it up. And for me, I know when a mouse, is perfect for me when I'm playing something or I have this in my hand, I don't even feel it. It's like I might as well not be holding a mouse. I might as well be doing this and just like moving the air. That's how I know when a mouse really suits me and fits me well. When I don't even have to think about how I'm holding it. I don't feel it. I'm not sitting there going, oh man, like I'm a little bit uncomfortable, or oh, I need to like move my thumb, or oh, I'm like slipping a little bit. I don't feel like I have a good grip, whatever. The fact that I can pick this thing up and it's almost like it's not even there, and not even a sliver of my attention is going towards how I'm holding the mouse, what it feels like, the weight, anything like that. I mean, I've never really had a mouse like that before. The mice that I've used the most in the past is like the Razer Viper Mini. I got comfortable with that, but that kind of took a minute. And same thing with like a Superlight, which I just put mine away, so I wouldn't be able to show you. But like the Superlight, I got very comfortable with that as well. But that also took a while because the Superlight, the hump is definitely a bit higher than this. I would still, kind of feel it on my hand a little bit. So I was still able to perform really well with those mice. Like I've never had a mouse that fit my, perfect fingertip grip quite like this. And even like Zeiss Rail, I really like that mouse as well, and in theory, that mouse would have been perfect for me, except for the holes that has on the side. It has those little spots that don't have the holes that your fingers are supposed to go on. But I guess I have little, fat sausage fingers, and so parts of my fingers would hit those holes all the time, and it just bugged the shit out of me. And so I would always constantly sit there and be thinking about how I'm holding my mouse and fidgeting like my thumb and my ring finger, stuff like that, back and forth. And so that's why that mouse just didn't work for me. I guess the mouse feet is just like standard PFE feet or whatever the fuck it's called. I have no experience whatsoever with any type of aftermarket skates, so I can't really compare to anything like that. But as far as glide, everything like that, it's been absolutely perfect. I have no complaints whatsoever. And then another thing I did want to touch on is a lot of mice that I've used, like when I fingertip, when I grab the side, I always have this issue of it feels like my thumb and my ring finger and my pinky on the other side of my hand like scrape against the mouse pad. Like it feels like when I try to grab the mouse, my thumb doesn't have any, room to just sit on the mouse and not have to like touch the mouse pad. Versus this one, I actually do have that amount of room. So I like that a lot where I can just grab this, have it perfectly sit right there, and then of course, like sometimes my thumb or whatever might drag on it a little bit, but there's a difference between like, oh, touching a little bit when I'm moving and feeling like, oh my God, my entire thumb is on the mouse pad because the mouse is so thin on the side that like there's no other way to go about it. That shit's really annoying. But this mouse, I don't have that issue whatsoever. And another thing that I really, really love about this mouse, which I think makes like the comfort for me so amazing, is the fact that on the side here, you can kind of see how it flares out toward the end, right? And it does on the other side too, because it's an ambi mouse. It's exactly the same. It kind of has that little bit of a curve right there, but if you can tell, right in the middle it goes flat. So it starts to curve up toward the top, and then it goes to like a flat area and then goes to the back. Oh, Faker is making an appearance. So when you place your thumb on it and my ring and my pinky finger on the other side, the part where my thumb and those fingers connect on the mouse, which is the most important contact points for me, finger tipping, it's completely flat. So it just makes it to where the grip I get on this mouse is so amazing. Like this right here is the Razer Cobra, not the Pro version. I think the Pro version came out, people hated it, but I got the wired version because it's pretty close to Viper Mini essentially. But anyway, if you see right here, like I like this mouse a lot too. Like this is a great mouse for fingertip as well. Like, I also can get a very comfortable grip on this mouse. But what gives the Pulsar a bit of an edge for me is, again, on the side right there, you can see this one flares out as well, kind of similar. But if you see in the middle there, it's a curve the entire way. There is no part of the mouse that actually has that, just like that inch or whatever of it being completely flat. The whole thing is a curve. So when I'm holding this mouse like on my thumb or whatever, like I can still get a good grip of it, but underneath my thumb and my fingers on my other side, I can feel that curve. So when you're gripping it, you can tell it's just not flat. Versus this one is, and that just small change has made such a big difference for me. And honestly, I can't go back. Like I mean, I have a chronic spending addiction, so I have way more mice than really any sane human being should have. So of course I'm going to buy more because I'm mentally ill. But realistically, this is my perfect mouse. Like I don't really need anything else. If I was sane, I wouldn't need to buy anything ever again. Like this really truly is. I've never had a mouse where straight up out of the box I grabbed this thing and I was like, oh shit, like this is just it almost feels like it was built for my hand. So yeah, it's just amazing in every way. And then you get the 4K dongle, and I think this is it's $20 separate. And I see a lot of people kind of get angry, upset about that. The fact that a bunch of these companies now, they have 4K dongles, but you have to buy them separately or whatever. And I get that, but at the same time, it's definitely an enthusiast thing. You do not need 4K hertz. Like 1K hertz is more than enough. 2K hertz is more than enough. Like going to 4K really is like unnecessary, to be honest with you. And it definitely is more of like an enthusiast thing anyway. Let's be real. Most of these mice, like these Pulsar mice, super lights, or the Viper V2s, even like a mouse like this, honestly, like you're not exactly a plebeian if you're buying these types of mouse anyway. They're all kind of enthusiast mice. But you don't need to buy that at all. Like it's not going to affect your performance in game at all or whatever. And then the other thing too is it's like I don't quite understand where it's like, okay, well, if the dongle came bundled with the mouse and then you buy the mouse and it's just the price of the mouse plus this, but it's all in one package, would people complain as much? Honestly, I don't think they would. I think just having the cognitive dissonance of, oh, well, I only hit, I press one button and there's one item in my cart is like would trick people into thinking that they're getting a better value than they would just buying them separate. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong about that, but at the end of the day, you don't need to buy this thing. Like, it is like totally just a vanity type thing that isn't necessary whatsoever. But I will say it's going to be it's really hard for me to go to a mouse that doesn't have 4K now, because like I have a really, I have a high refresh rate monitor as well. I don't know what it would be like if you didn't have a high refresh rate monitor. It probably, you'd get way diminishing returns. It probably wouldn't really do a whole lot for you. But ever since I've been using this dongle, like when I move my mouse, it feels like it's floating. Like, it honestly, like going from 1K hertz to 4K, like using 1K, like of course like it felt great and everything, whatever. But then when I switched to 4K and then tried switching back, when I use the 1K, it feels like there's just an ever so slight disconnect between my hand moving and where my cursor is. And going to 4K, that just completely goes away. So like I said, not only does this mouse disappear and I can completely forget I'm even holding a mouse because the shape fits me so well, but then it feels like exactly wherever I move my hand, as soon as I move my mouse, it is an instantaneous, response on the screen because of just having that more refresh rate. Obviously, like, that makes sense, right? But man, it is hard to go back. Like, it's really, really going to be hard to go back. But that being said, if you only use 1K and you don't have the craziest refresh rate monitor or whatever, like, you don't get this dongle, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. The fact that I use my 4K dongle, does that mean I'm gonna shit on you in my gold League of Legends games? No, absolutely not. It's not gonna fucking matter. So, don't think it's not gonna matter. But it is cool to have, like, if you are an enthusiast or whatever. I mean, the fact that you're even clicking on this video means you probably are, like, and you have the extra cash to spend, I would say go for it. Why not? Just kind of a fun thing, and if you don't want to use it, or you don't care, you don't feel anything, I don't know, just throw it in your closet somewhere, with all your other mice that you don't use that you didn't need either. Yeah, but after that, the price of this thing, it's $99, not counting shipping or whatever, I'm pretty sure. So, the value that you get just buying this without the other dongle, I mean, this is amazing. I mean, like, this is 100%, I can totally recommend this, even if you claw or fingertip, and this is the mini version. They have, like, an extended version too, if you have, like, if you have bigger hands or whatever. And I really just, the value of this is insane. Like, compare this to the new Superlight that just came out. What did they do? They added USB-C. Oh, congratulations, this already has it. And, well, yeah, you can't really see, but, every other mouse has had it for forever. Wow, congratulations. Let's give Logitech a round of applause. Ha ha ha. And then the other thing is, I'm pretty sure it only has 2K hertz. This goes up to 4. You can also set this to 2K hertz too in their software. Their software is, pretty cool, super straightforward, easy to use. Even like pairing to this dongle thing is super easy. You can even go to 2 hertz on there, or 2K hertz on there. So ultimately, like, this mouse is amazing. I really like it. It's been such a pleasant surprise, honestly, the fact that, again, instantaneously out of the box, I've used so many mice, dozens of mice, and this is easily the best one I've ever grabbed just right out of the box. So I have absolutely no complaints. If you're on the fence about it and you're, oh, I want to get it, or, oh, I've heard like bad things about build quality or whatever, I really think most of those issues have been completely solved, and you will not regret buying this mouse in any way, shape, or form. So thanks for clicking on this video. See you later.